We're at Gardemoen in Norway for round 4 of the FIA European Drag Racing Championship. This is the all-methanol show. In funny car, Michael Kagrad is pulling away in the championship. Can Leif Andreasen catch him up? And in dragsters, can Peter Beck catch Jarmo Roivers? Well, the strip here at Gardemoen is deep within the pine forest, about 1 hour north of Oslo. This is round 4, and some of the championships could be decided here in Methanol. This man, Leif Andreasen, is second in the funny cars to this man, Michael Kagrad. If Kagrad wins, he will take the championship. Then in dragsters, we have this man, Jarmo Roivers. He could take the championship in dragsters if he was to win, but Peter Beck has got other ideas.
Although it's hot today amongst the pine forests of southern Norway, it's good air, and clean air helps create high horsepower, and that's what all drivers want.
And this man, Leif Andreasen, has got a lot of horsepower under the bonnet of his funny car. This is Methanol Funny Cars quarter-finals. Now Leif is #1 qualifier and gets a bye run in the quarters. Leif is currently lying second in the championship. Therefore, he's got to win today to stand any chance of catching up Michael Kagrad for that #1 spot. Leif Andreasen, a consummate professional who's been here many times before. All he has to do on this bye run is get through, but he'll want to put a quick time in so that he's got lane choice when it comes to the semi-finals. He'll also be aware that Kagrad, as the slowest qualifier today, will be going through on a bye run in the semi-finals, so a quick time will be essential. He goes into stage, waiting as he moves forward the extra 8 inches. You'll see the light up, he's in stage and he's off. Runs a time of 6.033, that's 376 kilometers per hour. Now we have Alf Leanders against Leif Hollander. Alf Leanders in the white car here. Not as experienced as Leif Hollander. Leif Hollander should take this win quite easy. You can see the crew chiefs there guiding their car back. What they're trying to do is guide the car back onto the rubber that's just been laid down in the burnout. Traction is essential in drag racing, and therefore what they're looking to do is make sure the car is pointed down the strip and to ensure that when the car launches, it bites on the track and hooks up as quickly as possible. Looking inside there, the cabin of a funny car, immensely claustrophobic in there. Of course, if anything goes wrong inside one of these funny cars, you're in trouble, as Leif Hollander found out in Sweden a few weeks ago. The escape hatch in the roof is there to let the driver out. So both cars move forward. Leif Hollander there unusually reversing away from the pre-stage line. Both cars moving up now to pre-stage. The psychology of the start is essential. Leif Hollander is an old hand at this. He will certainly want to take this win. They're both in pre-stage. Alf Leanders moves through into stage. Hollander follows him in, and they're away at the green. It looks to be Hollander away first at half track. It's Hollander away. He's taking it all the way down to the line. It's Hollander takes the win. On the slow-mo, you can see that Hollander's away there with a 0.537 reaction time, only marginally quicker than Leanders. But at half track, Hollander is away, taking a comfortable win. This is Dan Larsen. He's up against Michael Kagrad in the left-hand lane, the green and yellow Pontiac. Now, unusually, Michael Kagrad was the slowest qualifier this weekend, having had many problems with his Quake Estate car. And usually, the slowest qualifier would meet the fastest qualifier. And if that had happened, Michael would have met Leif Andreasen in the first round of the quarterfinals. And the situation is clear. If Michael wins here today in Norway, he will clinch the championship. So fortunately for us, Leif had gone through on a bye run and Michael is still in the competition. On paper, Michael should easily beat Dan Larsen. Clearly, if he goes out at this stage, it looks good for Leif Andreasen. The crew chiefs there are essential just to guide the guys in so they know exactly where the pre-stage line is in front of the cars. They're both in pre-stage. Now who will go into stage first? Kagrad marginally into stage quicker and he's away first. Larsen won't catch up. Impossible. Michael Kagrad is away. He takes it with a good time. That's 217 miles an hour. A reaction time for Kagrad there of 0.522. Dan Larsen very slow off the lights, but still taking a 6.397 run. Kagrad goes through to the semi-finals where he will get a bye run. Leif Andreasen will meet Leif Hollander. This is Peter Beck from Switzerland, lying second in the Dragster Championship to Finland's Jarmo Roivas. Now Peter Beck will meet Kari Eskelinen in the semi-finals. On paper, Peter Beck should take the win. Peter Beck qualified with a time of 5.762 versus Kari Eskelinen's time of a comparatively or very slow 8.441. So again, Beck should take this one and move through into the final where he would anticipate meeting Jarmo Roivas. If Beck doesn't win or go through, he's going to have a big struggle trying to catch up in the championship. Kari Eskelinen is currently lying 5th in the championship with no realistic chance of getting on the podium. But as a matter of pride, will want to do well this weekend. So as the tension mounts, with only one round to go after Norway, both these cars in the semi-final move towards the timing lights. Both cars in pre-stage. It's a question of who will roll into stage. It's Eskelinen and Beck. They're away. Eskelinen left on the lights there. Beck taking a comparatively easy run. So looking at the start again, we can see Eskelinen lighting his tyres up there. But looking at the reaction times, Beck red lit. Peter Beck from Switzerland, last year's champion, is out. He red lit with a time of 0.203. Beck is out. Now this man, Jarmo Roivas, would have seen that, realising one of his biggest competitors is out. So now we have Jarmo Roivas versus Dave Wilson. Good burnout from Jarmo Roivas. Now watch this burnout from Dave Wilson. I guarantee he'll probably end up about halfway up the strip. Now Dave Wilson actually qualified above Jarmo Roivas. So even though Jarmo is leading the championship, Dave Wilson could be expected to take this win. Now if he did, obviously Jarmo is going to lose any advantage of Peter Beck having gone out in the other semis. Again, if Jarmo was to win today, it will put him a long way in front of the championship. It wouldn't conclude it, but it would make it very difficult for the other drivers to catch up at Santopod Raceway in England, which is the 5th and final round coming up soon. Dave Wilson from England, Jarmo Roivas from Finland. Those cars move up to the staging beams. It's Wilson in stage first. Roivas is holding him there. Roivas moves into stage and at the lights, it's Wilson away first. Wilson at half track is half a car up. Roivas could power past him, but he doesn't. It's Wilson who takes the win. Great news for his team there, and an upset here in Norway. But let's take a look at that start again. Roivas is away 0.676, but Wilson is quicker. You can see the air intake on Wilson's Dragster, which is larger than Roivas. Maybe that's making the difference. He powers through. 240 miles an hour for Roivas, 238 for Wilson. So this is how the final will look. Dave Wilson versus Kari Eskelinen. Now it's back to the action here at Gardemoen in Norway with the FIA European Drag Racing Championship. This is the semi-finals. Up top, Methanol funny car. This man you're looking at is Leif Andreasen, last year's champion. Now again, just to remind you, he's lying second in the championship. He needs to win here in Norway. It means that he must beat Leif Hollander, who's in the blue and white car in the opposite lane. Leif Hollander, though, extremely competitive, certainly capable of winning this race. Leif Andreasen will take nothing for granted. The thousands of spectators here at Gardemoen look on at the funny cars. Always a spectacle, always exciting, and often very dramatic. The question is, who will go into stage first? My money would be that Andreasen will force Hollander into stage first. Both cars are in pre-stage. It looks like Hollander's in stage. Andreasen is waiting. He rolls forward. It's Andreasen in stage first. Hollander follows him in, waiting for the green. They're off. Hollander, it looks like he's out first. Andreasen, what a shape there, nearly hitting the guardrail, but Andreasen is through. Andreasen takes the win, keeping the championship alive. Andreasen, 0.534. Quicker out the blocks than the Hollander, but look how close he gets to that guardrail. He must be backing off there, but he's back on the power, and he goes through. Michael Kagrad on a bye run in the semi-finals. You would have seen Leif Andreasen go through there, which would have disappointed him because he knows that he's got to meet him in the final. Now my guess is that Kagrad won't put the hammer down on this one. I don't think there's any preferred lane here at Norway. So even if he ran a quicker time than Andreasen, there would be no advantage. Clearly a slower run means that he would conserve parts, wouldn't run the risk of breaking the car. That's de-icer being sprayed into the bug catcher on the top of the engine, because these engines running on methanol run very, very cold. And as you saw, the butterflies opened at the start of the run there, and if they froze, there would be no power being delivered to the engine. That's why they put the de-icer on. So let's have a look. Leif Andreasen will meet Mickey Kagrad in the final. Now, so far this year, we've been watching the FIA Car Championship, but shadowing them has been the FIM Motorcycle Championship. We take a look at the Harley Davidson Super Twins.
We started 10 years ago in 1989, and in matter of fact we have improved a lot. Today we have a European Championship, and it started in 1994. We started with the first official European Championship in the Super Twins, and like in 1989 the European record was 8.36 seconds, and now I think the record is 6.90. Some guys has been running 6.83 now, but not backed it up yet. So, and over 200 miles per hour. So it's a big improvement in these 10 years.
We thought we'd take a look at Charlie Carling in qualifying, as despite smoking his tyres, he runs a 6.834, one of the quickest times in Europe. This is the final of the Harley-Davidson Super Twins. In this lane, it's Stefan Junerud, and in the opposing lane, Per Bengtsson. Now, the Harley-Davidson Twins don't look like any conventional Harley-Davidson, but they do borrow parts from the Sportster motor. Two-cylinder V-twins, both bikes move up to the staging lights. Both bikes in stage at the green light, they're away. It's Bengtsson away there, half a bike up that half track. but he's moving very close to the white line in the centre of the track. If he crosses it, it's instant disqualification, but I don't think he did. Bengtsson takes the win. But he did appear to knock over some of the timing beam equipment there. You can see just how long these bikes are as Bengtsson comes in. Let's look at that start again. A good start there, but watch the bike on the left, how close he drifts to that white line. Don't forget, if he crosses it, he's disqualified. Both bikes running approximately 200 miles an hour as they cross the line.
I drifted to the left, and but I have decided to hold them on all the time, and I crossed the finish line very close to the foot set. But I'm satisfied.
I'm sure we'll be seeing more action from the Harley-Davidson Super Twin soon. It's back to the cars. This is the final of Top Methanol Funny Car. This is Leif Andreasen. Leif, you're through to the final, but the championship is looking difficult.
It's pretty hard right now, but we still have a chance, and we're going to put everything, best effort we can to do it.
How's the car running?
It's not running like we wanted to do, but I think we have the power for the final, and I hope it's going to run good without tire shakes. I have real bad tire shakes the last run, and the car was moving out to the guardrail, and it was tough to drive that one.
He'll be up against this man, Michael Kagrad, but things haven't been going well. Michael, you've been having problems all weekend. What's been going wrong?
We have shaked the tires every round except the semi-final pass here. So we have had a lot of job and a lot of problems this weekend, but so far we are in the final anyway. So.
And you're up against Leif, your main championship contender, but I think if you win today, the championship is almost yours?
I'm not sure, I haven't count points yet, but I'm happy if I can win the final.
Well, there's no doubt that if Michael Kagrad in this funny car beats this man, Leif Andreasen, it's going to be almost impossible for him to be caught at the fifth and final round at Sandpod Raceway in England. So the pressure is very much on Andreasen. But Mickey Kagrad here has been having problems, as he said in the interview. So Andreasen may decide just to make sure that he gets a clean run up the strip. Both cars very well prepared, both drivers excellent ambassadors for the sport of drag racing. We spoke to Keith Bartlett to find out who he thought would win in the final.
Michael Kagrad's had a wonderful season. He's all but clinched the championship. However, this weekend Leif Andreasen had to put a new motor in. He's been running incredibly hard, and I actually feel Leif Andreasen will probably beat Michael in the final.
Not to take anything away from this man, Michael Kagrad, of course the crowds will want Leif Andreasen to win to keep the championship alive as we move into the fifth and final round. You can see the final adjustments being made to the car. That's the escape hatch that the crew chief is looking through. Leif Andreasen will be sitting there concentrating, thinking about who's going to be forced into stage first. This, again, very important to decide. Do you want to sit in stage waiting for the other guy to come in, or should you go straight in to make sure that you're anticipating the start? A very important race here in the offing. Both cars are in pre-stage. Kagrad goes into stage first. He keeps him waiting. 1, 2, 3. This is too long. Andreasen rolls into stage. They're away. Andreasen is away first. Kagrad out of shape. Andreasen up the track. Half track. He's got it. Andreasen takes the win. And in fact, some of his bodywork seems to come away there. As the chutes open and the cars decelerate, Andreasen very much back in the hunt. But let's look at that start again. Andreasen away there, 0.45 versus 0.488 to Kagrad. Drifting a bit towards the centre there, Andreasen coming through for a very clean win.
I think Mickey is pretty upset about that. I hold him on the starting line, but it was it was not like I wanted to do it. No problem at all with that. But I'm trying to do my best, and I don't want to screw up any competitors. And you know, it's hard with the engines and everything down there, so it's hard to run the car, and I lost the wing on the car, but what can I do?
Mickey, a disappointment for you there?
Yeah, it was a little bit it was not exactly what I have wanted, but he's drilling me a lot at the starting light there, and I'm not pleased with that.
Let's see how many seconds he held him for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th, almost 6 seconds. It doesn't seem long, but when you're at full revs in a funny car, it's an age. In the championship, it's 323 versus 292. Wait for Santapod. Now, will there be so much drama in Methanol Dragster? First of all, let's find out from Keith Bartlett who he thinks will win.
I think it's a surprise for everybody that Peter Beck pulled a red light in the semi-finals. However, Dave Wilson and the whole team have run so well this weekend. I just cannot see Dave Wilson and that team being beaten.
This is Kari Eskelinen, hopefully going to prove Keith wrong. But this is Dave Wilson. Again, remember, he was #1 qualifier here this weekend. He'll be very tough to beat in this final. He'll want to win here because it will put him second in the championship. Now, if he is second in the championship as a result of winning here, it puts him in with a realistic chance of winning the series at Santapod. So just watch Wilson. Both cars moving up to the timing beams. They're both in pre-stage. The revs mount. I don't know what happened there, but Eskelinen completely leapt through. Eskelinen has red lit. Dave Wilson breathes a sigh of relief, cruises through to take an easy win. Well, Eskelinen jumps out of his car there, completely foxed. You can see in the slow motion replay, it just leapt forward. It looked like a mechanical fault. It didn't look like driver error, but whatever happened, he red lit. Dave Wilson with a reaction of 0.678. It was all academic though. A good time, 236 miles an hour. Dave Wilson takes the win.
We've had a good weekend. We've had a good qualifying session. We had a good race then. I don't know what happened on the start line. I think he overstaged a little bit and maybe got a red light or something, but we left as we have done all weekend and just short shifted it a little bit because I couldn't see him anywhere. Just drove it right through the end and still couldn't see him, and apparently he's not here either, so that's okay.
Now in the series, Dave Wilson, 253. It's possible for him to catch Jarmo Roivas. So fortunately the rain has stayed away here in Gardemoen in Norway, and in Methanol Dragster, Jarmo Roivas looks like he's going to secure the championship at round 5 at Santapod, despite Dave Wilson catching up slightly today.
And in funny car, Leif van Dressen was causing a bit of controversy on the track this afternoon, but it looks like Michael Kagerad has the championship under control.
Find out and join us at round 5 at Santapod Raceway in England.